And now we're gonna go to the library and launch 5.54. I remember, or is it 5.4? Let's try 5.4. I keep forgetting because I do this once a week. Okay, so now we have everything here running and looking pretty good. I'll put some announcements out and yeah, we'll get some people from our server to join us. We'll just add updates and say Jack is live. Join us and let's learn some real-time VFX. VFX. There we go. Perfect. Yes, we got that going. Now Unreal is launching, and the next thing we need to do is basically we need our course. So we will get that course by going to DoubleJump Academy Teachable.com, and we will get our course from here, guaranteed. All right, so I'm just gonna open that course and make sure that we have been. Oh, I need to log in. Well, that's nice. All right, one thing I want to change here is the acceleration. Default is something with default settings. What was it in Mozilla browsers, Firefox, default something, performance, right? Before automatically use performance. Don't use performance. Don't use hardware accelerated. All right, we are logged in now. Let's go to DoubleJump Academy Teachable. And we'll get into the course, which is only 5% complete. That is awesome. Okay, perfect. Let's put that here. Let's make sure our Unreal here is doing the right course. Let's browse through our Mystic portal and let's open that. Cool thing is I lowered my stream to 50 FPS actually. And yeah, that is, I'm excited to see if there will be a result. So let me share that event link and get it inside of the general channel. Hello, lovely people. We are live learning some real-time VFX from Jesse's course. If you ever were curious, join in and let's learn. Exactly. Perfect. Here we go. Perfect. Yeah. Oops. Yep. Let's put that out there. Let's put the other one out there in the other general chat here. Lovely people. And I'm gonna do Jesse. See Hannigan's course. Perfect. Yeah, let's go. Let's make sure that I see the audiences that are joining. And yeah, let's close the tabs that I'm not needing here. And let's make sure that I see the chat as well. So very slow today, but we'll get it going. And once we get it going, we can definitely keep it going. Perfect. Gonna put that here. We are gonna put that. Let me try to get the right overlay. This is here. And this is gonna be there. The reason I have my screen on 1080 is because I am basically struggling with Unreal. And today I think we will go into Unreal. So let's make sure that we're not gonna struggle further. All right, last time we stopped it at 1.10, 1.1, which is video, what is it? Video chapter 10 video 1, I think. I think we completed that. Oh, we didn't even start with the material, so that's true. All right, let's start with the material today. Let's keep it going. Perfect.
All right, now that we have our Rune Embers emitter working and looking...
Just making sure that the project is working. We will go to Unreal and just make sure that everything here is as of the state of the art and so to speak and everything. Is the stream lagging? No, it seems to be smooth. However, I'll just do one trick here by going to settings. Where was this? Here, engine scalability, but it's already on medium. That should be fine. All right, but we're getting a little lag, getting a little weirdness. Let's hope it's not gonna affect the whole thing. There were a couple of commands I remember, like the, what is it, TK max, TX, something like that, T max FPS, max FPS, right? Yeah, FPS, let's do 24. And now it will look like it's lagging. It is not lagging, it just is limited to 24 frame per second. I think that helps a lot with the stream and everything. So let's go back to the tutorial and get back to the course actually. Let's make sure that the high quality is on and turn it on.
Pretty cool. Coming out of just our runes here. Let's go ahead and work on our material. Let's go back to our rune effects. And we're going to just start a new material, m_effects, and we will say embers. Now, I'm not going to say rune embers. And let's also give it a master tag here, because this will be our master material for it. I'm not going to say rune embers because these embers will be used elsewhere. Now, let's go ahead and start populating it with our textures. All right, so if you go to your week 1 effects folder, you will already have the final assets. So if you wanted to just pull them in without working through the texture, totally fine. I'm going to go ahead.
So they also give us the texture. That's interesting.
Just drop those in. I have got it in a window off screen. Here are my final textures.
All right, let's get that inside.
All right, so
let's get our textures that we made with the Material Maker last time inside of here. So one of the main things is we go to content, right? Make sure it's VFX, and it's the second one, which he called Rune VFX. Okay, we're just gonna create a folder here. Gonna call it 2. What is it? Can only accept this one, Rune VFX, right? Let's get that here, and let's get that here. Just gonna check here. Okay. Rune VFX. Let's get the stuff that he has already ready here for him. He has a material. Okay, I'm just gonna go back a little bit.
Without working, go ahead and start populating it with our textures. All right, so if you go to your week 1 effects folder, you will already have the final assets. So if you wanted to just pull them in without working through the texture, totally fine. I'm going to go ahead and...
So he created the... created his system inside of this folder. I wonder where we created our folder. So... And that is a problem with not checking. I'm just going to check here. VFX. Level 1 sequence. This is... We just created that one. Okay, maybe in the assets folder. Then we created... Yeah, here it is. Let's see if we go inside. Yep, that is our folder. Yeah, it's fine. We're gonna work here. Let's make sure that we get our texture. Heyo, nice to have you here. Welcome to the stream. We are streaming DoubleJump Academy's course, real-time VFX. So let's see what we can learn. Something new. Last time we had Material Maker, and we learned some tricks there, and now we're gonna continue and learn more because we created that material in Material Maker, and I will get our textures inside of Unreal now. Make sure that they have a material and everything else. So here we go. That's Material Maker. I'm just gonna make sure where the folder was and where we have exported things. But I think we even exported things inside of the actual project. So let me get there, and now that I remember where it was, so we're gonna go to program file. Actually, no, I've saved it in a different hard drive. We have DGA, real-time VFX. Okay, and then we have the actual weak engine versions. Yeah, that's the one. Full content. I was treating it like Unity, but that did not seem to work a lot. So let's see where we can find this. Oh, actually, a topic I wanted to get deeper into, but I find most of these courses or tutorial explain how to make these effects, but rarely, if any, do explain optimizations required by game dev studios. I mean, that's a lot of generalization, I think, because so the rules of optimization depend, of course, on the game that you're trying to make. Courses are not perfect, but when you generally understand what a draw call is, for example, if you're serious about getting into like real-time VFX, it would be very beneficial to learn these things and make sure that you've learned them. But I'm not gonna generalize and say that all of them don't. I know that a lot of them don't. But I have not got to that point yet here where it's not teaching that yet. So let's see. I'm not gonna judge on that, but we will see. If it's not, then I agree with you there. And as a real-time VFX artist myself, I know exactly what you're saying. And yeah, you're right. But like each studio has different optimization, like I said. So some have optimizations for VR, for example. That would be a whole different topic than optimization on a PC game, or a whole different optimization topic on like a, I don't know, other type of games, like I don't know, like a, what is it, a Switch game. That will be a whole different topic, or a mobile game. Okay, I wanted to check where the heck I put those folders. Material Maker, where did you save my stuff? Let's check it out. Let's open our project from before, load recent. Let's get the flakes. And let's see where we exported stuff. It's gonna load it, so it's gonna take some time. And we're gonna wait for it. Here we go. We are back, baby. We are so back. Senior artist, so you say, in case of my research, I have a dozen friends in AA, the AAA industry there in Warsaw. Senior artists from 11-bit studio, which doing the Frostpunk VFX in UE. Yes, yes. Okay, now it's generating everything again, actually. So we talked a bit about that, and seems almost all applicants aren't fitting the needs. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, like most people, I'm not gonna diss everybody here. So most people learn here on YouTube, right? They go and learn from this guy, who's, you know, good enough to get you making, you know, cool stuff, running and stuff like that. But if you go too much into edutainment and not too much into education, this is gonna be a problem. It's gonna bite you right back in the ass, right? So most people learn, they start here these days from this guy. He teaches you how to make like flashy stuff. But of course, you know, it's a YouTube video, so it's not gonna perform well if it's not edutainment at the same time. For a beginner, like, yeah, totally, like, this is exactly what you need. But to learn VFX, you need to be doing the stuff on the job, right? So if you don't know how game dev works and what is like game dev in general, like you have not been participating in game jams and stuff like that, or you know, you don't understand code, or you don't understand what a draw call is and all of those important stuff, it's hard to find a job. And right now, most of the people are their entry level, their entry introduction into VFX is actually through YouTube, or through Udemy courses, which do not like one of the most horrible content out there. And again, not to diss the person, but if you go to like this guy who just copies everybody, he just downloads a couple of assets and goes down and copy them. It's I think the channel name is CGY. Anyway, like poor quality, nothing of any importance to game dev. You can, but yeah, you get to make shiny stuff, and that's it. But yeah, I totally agree with you. There is that definitely, but like we see more and more courses out there that are trying to make it happen a bit better. If you want to know which content out there that is trying to make it better, write me on Discord. I'll let you know which of the, like, in my opinion, the pioneers in that field. But anyway, back here, let's get to the convert normal map. Okay, so we need to know where the heck we export those things. And here it says I'm exporting them into the portal content VFX assets textures. Okay, let's get into that. So we have here assets, textures, and here's all the assets so exported. Now I was treating this like Unity. It's Unreal, of course. It's not gonna read those files unless you import those files. So we're gonna go here and we will get our flakes in here. Let's import them. We say, could use some guidance since feels like game dev is often hostile to folks like me, which work for commercial or movies. Actually, it's not as hostile. So maybe now it is hostile, but like the course that we are viewing right now is made by Jesse. Jesse had, before he started in real time, he started in 3D for a decade almost, and then he just jumped into real time. So it depends on the people you're working with. Like if we're talking AAA, like people with no mercy, they just want results. Like they don't want to work with people, they want to work with machines more. Like, yeah, of course you're not gonna find the best of the best, right, out there. It is what it is. Like we can't change that. But like it's really depending on the people. But if you think you have no hope, I disagree. But text me on Discord. I'll share with you some really cool people that are aware exactly of that problem that you mentioned with the courses, and that they are actually doing something about it. So I'll let you know who those people are, and make sure that you have a good start if you're curious about real-time VFX, and you want like to have a proper start. So anyway, for now, we got the flakes in, and we get the normal map in, and now we'll start create a material. So I guess we'll just create a material. We're gonna call it runes flakes. Flakes. Okay. Now I can't see anything because of the 1080 runes. Okay, wait. Let me make this a bit bigger. Actually, yeah, that will work. All right, material. We're gonna do runes flakes. Here we go, and we're gonna call this material runes flakes, and we're gonna double click so we have an actual page here for it, which I will be able to move hopefully. Perfect. And now we're gonna go back to the course and learn some new tricks. All right, the course is, where is it? It's right there.
Just drop those in. I have got it in a window off screen. But here are my final textures. All right, so let's pull those into the material. And let's start working up a solution to get these working correctly. All right, so the first thing I want to do, I want to go ahead and convert these to a texture object. And then I'm going to make them a parameter. So we'll say,
oh, that's cool.
Ember.
I didn't know you can do that actually. So yeah, let's just do that. So you drag and drop it, and right, and then you drag drop the other one, the other texture. So we have a new comment and it says, which course is this specifically? Okay, so I'll share it with you. This course is, if you go to this link, I will share with you. Give me a second. I'll share this link with you here. So yeah, so it's this course. I think I can share. Yeah. On this you will find a real-time VFX 1 from Jesse. I'll show you how to navigate that website actually. So we have it here. Glad to help. So let's put the link that I gave you, and you will see you will see this page. If you go down there and you drag and drag this slide and this one, so Jesse Henning, real-time VFX for games, you go inside of this and you should be able to see this course. So we're following this course basically. So you can take a look at the trailer. I'm also including this Legendary Supremium 1, so we will also cover that one too. Okay, now we got that out of the way. Let's get to experience some, let's get to do this thing here. So right click and you can do convert to texture object. Right click and you can do convert to texture object. Perfect. Okay, now we got that going. And so we can do other cool stuff now. So one of which will be, I just noticed that I don't have a, give me a second here. This is not working properly. Something with the vertical stream here is, I'm not actually, okay. Let's learn. Now we're getting the actual overlay. Okay, that was on me. No worries though. We got it working. Perfect. I assume it's more for intermediate user. Yes. Basically, yes. But if you text me on Discord, I'll send you some really nice stuff. This is intermediate. I think if I was complete beginner, I would be lost here. But yeah, there's really cool stuff out there to beginners for. Like, and really, I wish I started with this content. Now that it's out, but yeah, I'll share with you there. Perfect. So we have textures and we're gonna convert them to parameters. Here we go, convert to parameter. And this will be called, can I still change the name? Yeah, so this will be our runes albedo, and this will be our runes normal map. Oops. Yeah, gonna delete that one, make it into normal map. Perfect. Good stuff. We'll catch you later after your live. For now, we'll lurk observing, so won't disturb process. It's alright, man. That's why I do it. So yeah, I'll catch you later definitely. I'll just make sure. I think I have you on Discord. I remember your name, so we'll text you later. Actually, let's do it before I forget. Grez, right? Thanks for joining. So yeah, so the people. I'm just gonna send you a link here. Damn it. Let me get that done quickly. These are the guys. Okay. Perfect. Now I will go here and let's see what I can do. Yes, so we have two texture parameters. Let's go into our course and check what the next steps are, but I'm guessing we'll have to go put that one here and the other one with the normal into the normal, unless we want to do other tricks. Because we did save different values inside of these textures. So it could be that we're gonna split them. Gonna take the R and the G and the B. So yeah, let's see how that's done. Let's check it out. Perfect.
And we'll just call this Embers texture. All right, and then this one, we'll go ahead and do the same thing. And just call this embers, normal. I don't plan on switching these out, but this will just give us parameters to work with. All right, so the first thing, I do want to keep these as opaque materials, but I want them to be opaque masked. There we go. And I'll go ahead and flip this to planar. And we'll go ahead and grab our SubUV function and just plug this in. We'll go ahead and hold S, give this a scalar, call this frame. And this one we'll call sub images. All right, and we know we have a 3x3. So instead of me doing any columns or rows, we can just plug this directly into our sub images here. Okay. And frame, we are just going to find the frame that works. Now, this is integer based. So if we use a floor, it will basically fit that to an integer instead of a float. So let's run that in, and I'm just going to run this into base color real quick just so we can see when that changes happen. So now that we have an integer, we should see that it won't go until we reach 1, 2, 3, and let's make sure our preview, let's make sure this is real time. There we go. So now, and sometimes it has a hard time updating. So if we drop this in with a plane, let's just go ahead and put a plane in. I like to do this from time to time to test my materials. Let's save. Let's make sure we save this. Okay. Now if we pull this out, we should be able to see the changes being made in real time. Yeah, there we go. It's not until it gets down to the first integer that it will change. All right, can pull that back up. So next thing we want to do is we want to also do that for the normal. Okay. And we're just going to use the exact same parameters. Frame, sub images, and texture. There we go. All right, what I like to do with normals, I'll usually put down a flattened normal. This will allow us to control how flat the normal is. It's a great node for that. So I just call that normal flatness. All right, and for converting this, I'm going to go ahead and split my channels out so I have our masks. All right, so we're going to do a component mask, and we're just going to go ahead and start.
Before we go that
these.
far, let's get that actually going. Let's get the setup here going from memory. Let's see what we can do. So one of the things that he uses is a SubUV function, and in the sub images and the frames we need each parameter. One will be called sub images, right? Let's just keep it simple, and one will be called frames. Okay, so now if this was split by 3, because it's a 3x3, right? It should give us the ability to change this value on the go to something like 3, and it's, oh wait, we did not connect it, so that's on me. Just gonna sneak peek. Oh wait, I think he does a preview on this. Start previewing node, and let's do a plane like this. Okay, now first of all we need a texture in here, and yeah, what am I? Oh, the UV in here instead of the texture, right? I'm missing something already. It's not working. Let's see what we're missing. Let's go back here. We see that it is connected to texture and then the RGB into the base color. So that is done like that, or the RGB into the base color. Let's stop the preview and look at it here. Perfect. So we already are getting the images. This should be the third frame on the... This is basically that frame here. So 0, that's the fourth frame. So 0 is the first frame. 1 is the second, 2 is the third, 3 is the fourth, 4 is the fifth, 5 is the sixth, and the 8 is the last one. Perfect. Which would mean 9 should go back to 1. Perfect. Yeah, that's exactly what we need. Okay, now we got that working. That is awesome. We're going to use the same parameters for the normal. So we will put this into texture, this into frames, and this into sub-images. Then we would need something called flatten normal. This will control how intense the normal is. So we will say, we'll add s-click, yep, and we'll call this one normal strength, so STR for now, and we'll connect this to the flatness of it, and whatever works for you. Call it strength, you call it whatever you want. Just keep it simple, you know. Let's do 10 for now. Let's connect that to the normal here, which should give it a bit of, yeah, you see it right there. So 10 is maybe too much, but I like too much of normal. So we're just going to explore what it does and see what happens with it. Right? So we're just going to play around here and see what we can do and how we can, you know, do it better. Let's see now. So we've created these elements and we will see what we can do next. So first we need to split the values. Let's see how that's done.
We have G, and we
That's
have
an interesting approach here.
Okay, and we'll just split these out. And if you remember, our alpha is in R, so that's going to go to our opacity mask, which now is masked, so that's good.
Okay, wait, let's get that done. We have masks, right? So we're going to add those masks one by one. So component mask, and in here you can choose which color you want to mask out or in. Here G. Oh, sorry, we're gonna have to take the R out. Then the last one will be the blue of the values that we filtered in Material Maker, if you so remember. And if you don't remember, I closed it. No, I didn't close it. Okay. Yeah, so we colored things, right? So when we colored things up in this step, combine, right? We have combined these three values. This have gone into the R, the widest of them all, like the one with the chunk, which will be our major mask, right? This is gone into the R, sorry, the B, because it has the least amount of compression, so it will have the least amount of texture or of real estate. And this has gone into the G. So in order for me to keep it organized, I'll do it like this. So that's what we're masking right now. So we have the mask that is completely white, that has all the chunks in it. Then we have the mask that has the least chunks, and the last one with the you know, the least amount. Okay, so this has less, this has least, this is most. Okay, let's split them then. RGB into the mask that is masking R, the RGB into the mask that is masking G, right? R, G, now we mask this one, and the mask that is masking B. Now, view. Let's view that thing. This is viewing us, this is giving us the one with the least, right? So we are viewing that one. This one is giving us the mask for, drum roll please. Where's the previewing? Here we go. This one should give us something like that. So waiting for it, here it is. I have like some type of HDR on, which I don't know how to turn off really, and I apologize for that. I'm sure there was like a setting that I could actually turn it off with. I just don't know how to turn it off right at top of my head right now. Yeah, sorry about that. Let's see. This one. Yeah, we don't need HDR. So yeah, you go to lit and you turn off this auto thing. Okay, and I learned that on a Discord chat. So Discord is amazing. Let me get into the R now. let's start viewing that, and it will take us to the majority of the whites, which are right there. This will give us like the major mask of that material, which would look like, give me a second here. It should look like this here. Our base color, I think. Oh wait, now this should go into our opacity mask, which is not available for us because I think I forgot to change this to translucent, I think. Or no, mask. Mask could also give us, I think. But I think we should go with a translucent. Now, we can go back to the video and check if that's the option he chose from, right? So yeah, we're gonna check for that. I will just do one Discord message and I'll be right back with you guys. Here we go. All right, stream is up and running. Here we go. All right. So we're back to it. Perfect. Yeah, we have all of those into the opacity, right? This should give us, we're gonna stop reviewing this. This should give us already the masking component. And if I show a different environment, okay, we have a grid. I didn't know that. If we show a different environment here, mainly the background, yes. Now we see that they are actually cutting off the, cutting off the blacks that were behind this. And if I delete it, if I take it away, which is, I think, control click. Oh no, control click adds like a component. Let's delete. Yeah, it was like this before. And when we mask the art, it would look like this. Give me a second. Excuse me. Okay. Now let's go back and make sure that it is a translucent material. We were at minute 5:14. If we go back to 20, something like that.
Our master material for it. I'm not going to say rune embers because these embers will be used elsewhere. Now, let's go ahead and start populating with our textures. All right, so if you go to your week 1 effects folder, you will already have the final assets. So if you wanted to just pull them in without working through the texture, totally fine. I'm going to go ahead and just drop those in. I have got it in a window off screen. Here are my final textures. To get these working correctly. All right, so the first thing I want to do, I want to go ahead and convert these to a texture object, and then I'm going to make them a parameter. And
one more.
Materials, but I want them to be opaque. Masked.
Yes, masked. Okay, so we went with masked. Let's go with masked as well. And here we go. We have masked right there. Perfect. This should give us the ability to have this opacity mask in there. And yep, we have this result, which is quite different. This is really different than the other one. Quite enjoying the normal map that is on that thing. That's quite beautiful. Okay, cool. Let's keep it going. We have it here.
There we go. And I'll go ahead and flip this to planar.
We were at 5.15.5, something like this, 5.15.
We'll go ahead and grab our SubUV.
5.16
is there. And then our emissive is here. And you can see we have a nice
okay, so he put each one in its own. Like the green went into the base color. But why is that, I wonder? Oh, so it has more holes in it? That could be the reason. Then the blue went into emissive color. Yeah, so what we want from these values, I think, is that this will be the cutoff of the major color, right? So if I go here and I take the green now into the base color, this will poke some holes in it. Is that correct? Oh no, it is actually not. So I think that might not be what we want, but at the same time, I think we want to color it on our own. We want to like add the color that we want on this texture. So that said, we have the blue into emission. So this should give it this oomph of brightness. Here we go. And we see it right now, giving it its oomph. The thing is that I'm not super sure about is that black part, but let's see where this is going. I'm getting real curious around here. So let's see.
All right, so once I save this, we should be able to see, and there you go.
Oh,
You can see that our masking is working.
okay. Let's give it a shot here with the HDR on. Let's see how that will look like. We are not getting a lot of emissions, so let's do a darker background maybe. So we will take the background away. All right, see again how the setup is done. Let's go, keep going. Okay, R is in the mask. It says, what does it say? Opacity mask. I think that's anyway the one that we went with. The G is going into base color. The B is going into emissive color. However, why am I not getting the same emissions? That could be in the settings of the project, honestly. Let me think here. Yeah, that could possibly be. However, we're just gonna keep going and see what we can do about it. So keep going there.
It's a solid chunk right now. All right, so now let's start to work in our functionality. And let me also throw in this normal. And we should see, yeah, there you go.
Oh yeah, so the moment he puts
and we
the
got
normals,
a good looking normal texture. And now we have some normal information that the lighting will play off of. And you can flatten that out. Now remember, these are super small, so the normal isn't going to be of utmost importance for this texture. You could even, if you find yourself low on memory, honestly, you could delete this and you could just use your green channel to do a bump or something like that.
True.
So it's not necessary. In fact, let's just make sure that as we take these textures in, we're properly manipulating them. So this is effects is our texture group so that it stays under effects. You can see this normal texture is pretty high. It's already at 21 megs. For our resource size, it's at 4096. I don't need normals that high. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and make sure that our maximum texture size is, yeah, right here. Our maximum texture size is something low. I mean, we could honestly do a 512 on this. And you'll see it takes the normals down. But remember, if we don't need the normals, it's not as big of a deal. We don't need super crispy detail on a tiny little ash.
Okay, got it. So let's fix that problem first. Actually, it's a really good tip when it comes to optimizations. So let's double click here, which should take us inside of here. Okay, and one thing he does is he changes the texture group into effects, which I think comes normal with Unreal. In this way, no matter what we like, when we need to manipulate like the layers and stuff like that, we would have it on that texture group. That's what I'm guessing here. Then we have the maximum texture resolution, I'm guessing, maximum texture size. This could be, like you said, 512 or 256. But for now, let's save it as it is. I think, like you said, with a texture like this, that is so small on the screen, we don't need like a lot of information, like super detailed information. So, and just for the sake of following the tutorial, let's add a basic light cinematic shapes. Let's add a plane, and that plane will be here. Oops. That plane will be above the ground, hopefully. All right, let's see. Let's zoom out. Let's take some time. And let's put the thing in the middle here. And I would like it to be way smaller, like the actual size of the flakes. And we'll apply the material to it. So we are going to save our material and wait for it. Then we'll apply our material here on that object. But now we see actually that it is emissive. In a way, it is being emissive here, which is pretty cool. Let's see if we could get into, let's see. That's not the one that I want. There should be settings that we can turn off. The huge real-time show of FPS, show stats, show toolbar, field of view, allow cinematic controls, immersive mode, allow camera, blah blah blah, advanced settings. Where do I get more settings? That's the question. That is more settings here, but there used to be the settings for like lit, or where are those Why am I not seeing those? Let's see, field of view, screen percentage, bookmarks, create camera here, layout, and advanced settings. Okay, I'm not understanding why I can't see that. They used to be up in here all the time. But yeah, it is what it is. Let's keep going and learn some more.
So you can see now we're at 341 kilobytes, and that's perfect. Now for our actual texture, again, we're at 4096, and the nice part about not having an alpha is it doesn't bump it up to 21 megabytes on resource size. It keeps it at 10. But we can go ahead, I'm going to go 2048, get us down to 2.7 megs. We'll still have the information we need, and honestly, you could probably even go down to 1024 and get a nice small texture.
1024 on 9?
And you can see how big this texture is compared to how big it will actually be on screen.
Let's see.
And that looks, I mean, still it holds up really well. And again, that's because we're giving it a lot of information at a high resolution. Now, if you were to zoom in, you see the artifacting, you see all that.
Yeah, but
remember, it's going to be small. So thinking through our assets and how they will be used on screen. Awesome. And let's make sure we also give that the effects tag there. Okay. Close out of those. All right, so the next thing I want to do is I want to work in some form of erosion. I'm going to do that through a smooth step. So let's go ahead and work in a smooth step. Believe it's the miscellaneous one. And we're going to tie the smooth step in through our green channel. So this is all the color information. We're going to use that as our alpha. And then we'll just go ahead and say erosion amount. All right. I'm going to give it. Now you could do this with a value step, which is just going to be a hard edge erode with it having an opacity mask because it's opaque. The smooth step isn't going to play as much, but it will allow us to start the erosion a little bit earlier. So if we go and add our maximum together, we can throw that in our maximum, and our erosion amount will go right in our minimum here. Okay. All right, so let's multiply this by our opacity mask.
But wouldn't multiplying it become... Oh, this is for the opacity.
And
okay.
We can see if we start to erode.
Okay, this is kind of cool setup. So it's the first time I do an erosion like this, so it's interesting to see it going that much into details. I'm really enjoying this, so let's get that done, guys. So first of all, let's get to the textures, and we double click on that, and we make sure that this thing is first it's not on world but on effects, right? So we can control them that way. If you know what this does, let me know in the comments. But I really don't know what texture groups are. But I mean, wait a second. Is there a way to read the documentations from here? Yeah, that would have been really helpful right now. Okay, you know what? We could probably just look it up. Unreal texture group. What do they do? What do they do? Let's check out what we find online about this. Let's put it away. Oops, I put it completely away. Now I can't find it anymore. Ah, here it is. Perfect. So we have grouping textures. Oh wait. Let's put it here. So, grouping textures into common sets allows for better control over the texture's memory pool used by various game texture resources. So, for example, if they want all the texture groups in effects to be way lower because they notice there's a problem with effects, they could put it probably to maximum of 1024. That's how I'm understanding this thing. So let's see what else we can get from here. Minimum map size that will be rendered specified in pixels, range of 1 to 8192 as power of 2s, must be less than blah blah blah. Okay, so what is the AI actually explaining? In Unreal Engine, texture groups are presets that control how textures are managed for memory, LODs, and rendering, allowing for better texture budget management and consistent settings across different platforms. Or performance levels, they serve as configuration groups for textures, enabling developers to set specific rules for size, minification, magnification, and filtering. Okay, so kind of it does what I was describing, if the AI is correct, of course. And so next step is to get into by the way, AI is amazing when you're trying to learn something, because like not everyone is like ready for you to ask questions, and not everybody will join your stream, not everybody will help you out. So if you're discouraged to learn that, you know, no one will help, no one will be there for you, AI is actually, it's pretty good in that. I really appreciate AI's existence in that aspect. Okay, now let's get into the maximum size. So maximum size, we have, let's see, where is it? I have lost track. It's an empty bar, so I'm not reading. Yeah, here it is. Maximum texture size. It will be, let's say 1024, which will give each one of those. I think we're already at 1024, correct? Oh, imported 4K. Okay. So it will give each one of those here, flipbooks, it will give them, let's see, 9 divided by, let's actually pull the calculator here. Bad at math. Okay, so 24 divided by 9, that will give each one 130 by 130, something like that. Yeah, and for a small texture like that, for that use case, that should be fine, I think. All right, so back here, now we updated it. Did we save it? Let's just save it again, just in case. And yeah, material. Okay, now we're gonna get the erosion controls in there. So we're gonna, select these efforts and put them a bit to the side. We're gonna pull the green mask a little bit to the right, so we know what to do with it. Perfect. We know it's special. It's a special one. We're gonna control it using some cool controls now. One of which is called. Let me try to remember. So he imported a smooth step, right? Smooth step. Then we have a max value, a minimum value, and an actual value. Okay, so we're just gonna go back to the course a little bit, take a sneak peek. Before we do that, actually, I think I know what we're gonna do. We're gonna need 2 parameters, so we do our best here. And this will be, let's see, smooth step, minimum. And this will be smooth step addition. Smooth step add, because we would need an add operation, math operation in here, where we hook the 2 of them, right? Let's say we're always going to add 2, right? And this will be a dynamic value here. It will increase and decrease, I'm guessing. And so if we put that into the max, we put that into the minimum, and we put the value of the green here. This, so far I understand, will be multiply. Hey, thanks for putting a point. I'll put a point too. Thank you. I will add a multiply here, and we'll hook that up into red as the complete mask that will be hooked into the opacity mask, and this one here. And then we will preview the node itself. Okay, so let's see. If this was on 10, what will happen is that we will have no texture. And I'm guessing the maximum value will be 1, correct? So if it was 0.5, here we get the erosion. We start getting the erosion. So this will be a dynamic value. So you know what I will do? I'll add a dynamic into here. Smooth, so dynamic erosion instead of erosion. Perfect. All right, dynamic erosion. That will be hooked into the smooth step minimum and will be driven by the addition. Yeah, and let's see what we can do to organize this a little better. A little better. And we'll put this into the opacity mask because that is what we want from an erosion. We wanted to control the opacity mask. Now, in order for this to be a bit better controlled, we will just hook these up here, and we will also take these down there a little bit so we have more space for the controls here. And I think C and click will add a comment. We'll call this erosion controllers. Perfect. And we will add that into here. Gonna put that here. Oh, they literally go inside or what? That's awesome. So now if I take that around, it will actually go around. That's perfect. Yeah, that is good. I like to comment on everything myself because I don't want to forget stuff, right? So one of the main things that I like to do is just comment, leave a note, leave something so when we're back to it next stream, right, next Wednesday, that we know what the heck is going on. Let's put that thing here. And we have these two controllers that are doing our work for the SubUV. All right, so this is doing flipbook stuff. We're gonna make sure that that is commented. So we're gonna click, oops. We'll comment here. We'll call that part. Let me try to think. We'll call it flipbook book controllers. All right, perfect. Controllers. Perfect. I think it's double L. Yeah, I think so. Oh, and the color can be changed here. That is awesome. Can have flipbook as red for now. Why not? And yeah, let's hook them up here. Perfect. The normal controls are kind of self-explanatory. Erosion, I would like that to be purple. It is purple to me, so that is fine. And this is masking, so yeah, it is kind of clear what it is by the name of it. So I will leave that to the naming, basically. Perfect. So we have these sections doing what they're supposed to do. And yeah, we have the dynamic erosion value that we'll probably control in our Niagara system. So I'm going to save that, make sure everything is saved, and we will go back to our tutorial. And so let's go back to that. Here we go.
What that's doing, oh, I see I didn't name this erosion. This is softness. So now if I change that, you can see what the softness is doing. It's just bolstering our value a little bit. So it's just giving us some sort of bias to work with, just for some extra control. If you want value step is going to do something very similar, but it's just going to be whatever your erosion amount value is versus having some form of an offset or a bias. And I'll keep that bias pretty small. You can see if I start using the softness bump, we can start it somewhere if we wanted to, and then we can keep erosion amount at 0. So that's why I'm using the smooth step here. I will keep it at 0 for now. All right, so we have that. The next thing I want to add
I
in...
need powerful PC to run a Unreal 5.5. Not really. Not really. Like, describe what a powerful PC is. So what is a powerful PC for you, I guess, is the question. Remember that in Unreal, you can do things like here, engine scalability settings. Then you could put things on low, right? Or medium or high. Because I'm streaming right now, I will not go on high because that will drain my PC, right? So I'll go with medium. But if you have a weak computer, just do the stuff here. You will be fine. And yeah, I think any computer can run Unreal. It's not a big deal. Like, of course, the bigger the resources, the better. But, you know, you'll be fine for learning the basics. What type of computer do you have? Leave the specs in the comments. Okay, we're going to go back to the course and learn some more. I think I didn't quite get the way he adds things together. So let's check it out.
Our color.
Absolutely, no worries.
Now, here's where it's going to get a little bit tricky because our color has already been defined for us.
And we have Grescott here saying Unreal Engine can be optimized even more with custom cleanup of unnecessary plugins or features which aren't game-oriented and take resources. So, you know, there are some custom ways you could do to make it work on any PC, I think, yeah. Thanks for the comment, man. Like, not many use feature like DMX or concerts or some motion design. Yeah, I totally agree with you. Like, there's a lot of controllers there that... Yeah, it's a pretty heavy engine because it has a lot of features, but you could probably strip it down to its, you know, core functionality, I'm guessing here. Let's keep watching. Oh, it's loading. Let's go back.
Somewhere if we wanted to. And then we can keep erosion amount at 0. So that's why I'm using the smooth step here. I will keep it at 0 for now. All right. So we have that. The next thing I want to add in is our color.
You know, there's something I'm not quite understanding because, like, the quality of the video is low.
Oh, I see. I didn't name this
so
erosion. This is softness.
Okay, what the heck is this? Smooth step. It has something at the top. Max, minimum. Okay, so it's flipped for him. I don't know why ours look the way it looks. It seems to work, but it might bite us right in the ass later. So, but I think we did it correct anyway. So I'm guessing the stronger this is, so the more... Oh, so this can be driven here too. I see. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. I mean, it's just an addition, right? That makes a lot of sense. Okay, so if this was on 0.5, yeah, but that's the main driver here. That is good to know. So what if this was on 0? What is the value we're getting? Oh, like a complete... Okay, I see. All right, so if this was on 1, it will already give us some cooler, like limiter. It's almost like a limiter, how bright this can be, and if you want it to go all the way to like 0, it will do this. And I don't want it to do that. Like, I want my flakes to have a little bit of flake texture. So let's keep it on 1, or let's keep it on 2, whatever we go with. We have more comments. By default, it has enabled all the junk, even for simulations, but for average user, what Jack shown with scalability should be more than sufficient for running it optimized. Thank you. Hey, how do I strip it down of its features, just in case I would need that later, because sometimes it does affect my stream, if you have advice there. Okay, perfect. Yeah, multiply, we got that working. I think we're really on a good track so far. So let's go back to the tutorial and see what we can do. Come on. Oh, it completely... Okay. It died on me. 9:30. Let's see. 9:30. Perfect. 9:30. Here we go.
So now if I change that, you can see what the softness is doing. It's just bolstering our value a little bit. So it's just giving us some sort of bias to work with. just for some
this is
extra
like
control. If you want
how hard the edges are, I think that's what it's doing, right? So if we take this one, we play a little bit with the value here, and we start, you know, taking it apart. Let's look at the edges here, right? So if we start playing with this add that we didn't know what to name, and we go down there to like 0, you see we're getting, yeah, we're getting more gray value here, right? So this is the bias. I think that is a good way to put it. So let's say erosion bias. And it could be a dynamic one. Dynamic erosion bias. This is why it's so important to do things on your own when you're following a course. Try to guess and try to understand what the heck you're learning, and try to play around. And when you go back to the tutorial, go back to the course, you are questioning things way more as if you were just copying them, right? So next time I'm using the smooth step, I'm like, okay, this thing is playing with how, almost like a contrast does, how smooth is the transition between the max level and the minimum level we're giving it. And it will drive that into the effect. So I think the more stylized approach you want, the higher you want that, also the lower you want that value, right? So this is a more stylized approach to the flakes if your game does not support alpha. So you would go with something like this that is eroding in that manner. But yeah, if your game supports more like realistic approaches to effect, you would go with something like this. This is more realistic, it has more gray value, nothing is perfect, right? And you would go with between 0 and 1, nothing else. Ooh, the minus is interesting here. Okay, yeah, well, you get the stuff. Okay, so we have Gresgot saying, there's two paths, one being manual disabling in plugins and project settings, and more technical recompiling engine manually from Epic Games repository, and ticking the things needed, how mobile and console game dev studio is doing. Interesting. Since UE Unreal Engine, you could say, is running around 17 or more instances of itself at once in swarms. Whoa. Like Unreal Editor viewport being one sort of software, and moment when you switch to Blueprint Editor or Skeleton Editor, you're technically load a different software. That's crazy. Sorry, mistypes typing without looking. Yeah, no, I have the same thing. Don't worry. And the thing is, I'm dyslexic, so sometimes I read it wrong, and I make sure that I'm reading it right. So it's all fine, dude. Okay, cool. This is fun. We're having a lot of fun. So yeah, let's continue.
Value step is going to do something very similar, but it's just going to be whatever your erosion amount value is versus having some form of an offset or a bias. I'll keep that bias pretty small. You can see if I start using the softness bump, we can
let's put the quality a little
start
bit
it somewhere if we wanted to.
Yeah, it's better.
And then we can keep erosion amount at 0.
I wonder if that's actually the plugin at fault here, because I have a plugin here. And I wonder the reason why I can't... Whoa. What is blocked, dude? Come on. Okay, give me a second. Let me play that thing again. There we go. Here we go. Let's play it again.
So that's why I'm using the smooth step here.
I don't know.
I will keep it at 0 really for now. Well.
Yeah, come on.
All right. So we have that. The next thing I want to add in is our color. Now, here's where it's going to get a little bit tricky, because our color has already been defined for us.
True.
And I can, first off, maybe do something with the gray values just to mess around with it a little bit.
Yeah.
And say, all right, let's do, a black and a gray. And when I say tricky, I mean with our actual color we are using for our blues and our purples. All right, so I'm going to use a lerp, and the reason why I'm doing this is I'm going to lerp between these values based on our color mask. Mm-hmm. Remember, this contains a lot of information for us. So if I use that, let me lower this gray value, something around there. And we should see, if I save this, we should see a change. So there you go.
Oh, yeah.
We still have our emissive, which is super hot right now. So let's go ahead and just add in an emissive boost.
Yeah, I thought that we need
I always create some form of emissive intensity.
Let's see. This is easy to
All
do
right.
later.
We'll just take that to 0 for now so that we don't get that blown
So he
out,
will
and then we
turn
can
off
see what our
the
color
emission.
is doing.
Yeah.
So there we go. We can see that we have a nice ash ember color. Now we also have not defined any roughness on this, so it's very shiny, especially based on our normal.
Yep.
This is an ember, and in turning to ash, it's not going to have
Shininess.
any roughness to it.
Yeah.
So we can just take the roughness to 1. Okay.
Yeah.
And there we go. Now, if you want to control it, let's just go ahead and convert that to a parameter and call it roughness. You could also use your mask. If you want it to have a wetness or a roughness, you could use your mask, and wherever it's black, it's going to be shinier. So you could do that as well. All right, I think that's a good place to leave off right here. In the next video, we're going to go ahead and start tackling our color parameters and bringing these embers to life.
Cool.
And finish rounding out this material.
Let's complete and continue, and we're going to do the colors now before we move forward.
All right, so...
All right, perfect. Okay, let's get it in here. All right, so one of the main things he did is, I think it's color. What is it? Color. What's the shortcut for the color one? Distribution linear to RGB. sRGB to linear. Which? Oh, I think it's vector 4, right? Yeah. Yeah. One is black. Vector 4 and click actually is what I'm doing here. One is gray. Okay, and he lerps it. So L click, that's a lerp. Boom in A and boom in B, and then we take the green into the alpha. This should give us something like this. We can't see it. Interesting. Okay, we put that into the base color right now. And we stop previewing the node. And let's see what we can do. Is it doing anything? Oh, it's getting an error. Interesting. Oh, okay. Why is that? Why is that happening? Give me a second. What is this, a vector 4? What is this exactly? Oh, I put a vector 3. Let's see. 4 click. Yeah, that's the one we need. All right, let's delete those. And I think it's a vector 4. Let's see. If it's not, it's not. I think we'll get the same error anyway. So if we put that into B and that into A, let's see if that's actually going to work. Let's put that thing into gray and see if it's going to work out. Seems okay for now. Let's start previewing this one. Get the erosion back to 0. And you say overall speaking UE5 simplified or did hide the old system, which were renamed or unified after UE4 times. Like animation tool sets were called persona or pre-Niagara particle cascade. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, that's kind of cool. Particles cascade. The new name is probably much better. But it's interesting that it's just like a different types of software hooked in together and they're working together. Okay, lerp. And this thing, we're previewing the lerp. Okay, so what happens if this was darker? And click OK. It will change. What are we doing? Like, what exactly are we doing here? It will get generally darker. I think we're limiting the whiteness of it, right? So if this was blue, now everything will be blue, right? So, yeah. Okay. We will go with what is going on right now in the course, but I think this just is controlling the general brightness of it. Or put it simply, if one would talk actual engine engineer, in some studio complaints on UE performance and code preparations are totally valid how messy it is. Ooh, okay. I did not know that this thing is so messy. But that makes sense to why a lot of studios just go with their own engines, right? Okay, erosion controllers. This will be our. It's not even color control. I don't quite understand what it's doing completely here. What a lerp does, it's a mask. So we're saying color between A and B, and we're limiting the whiteness of the green area here. So if we start previewing that, it's bright as hell, right? So if we start previewing that, it's a bit darker. Meaning if we compare it here, our flake, our innocent flake here, and we save it, it should be darker now. Let's see, and yeah, we're getting a little darker value. And I wanted to do the roughness to 1. So it's not doing any funny shininess that we don't need in this example here. Last thing I would do is, yeah, give it a emission controller, so to speak. So we're gonna M-click. M-click, isn't that a multiplier? Yeah, M-click is multiplier. Let's put it here. That is our emission. And we need an S-click parameter. I'm gonna call it double M and double S mission controller. All right, we're gonna put that here, and for now it's gonna be gone. That's fine. Okay, hello, epic spawn. You have epically spawned. Thank you for spawning here. Appreciate you. Multiply into the emission color. Perfect. Yeah, we got it working. Let's stop previewing, actually. We're gonna stop previewing you. I'll go to the bathroom, guys. I'll be right back. So, where is my bathroom break overlay? Be right back, guys. Let's see. Be right back. Be right back. Perfect. I'll be right back. What semester are you getting? Right. We are back. Let's get it back. Yes, sir. How are you doing today? Pretty good. Pretty good. How are you doing today? Okay, so let's go back to the let's learn elements. Forgot to turn on the virtual camera. And forgot to do one thing. Let's give it a test, actually, now that I changed the frame rates on these streams. Perfect. Okay, let's get it done. No, not you. Don't want you. Don't want you. Give me a second, guys. Let me get this running. Let's give it a try. Let's give it a try, mate. Well, you see it now. Can't hide it. I can't hide it, can I? Yeah, let's give it a try. I always wanted to try it, so why not? All right, now I just gonna put this a bit away from you guys' faces, and we're gonna turn on the course again, actually. So let's get that up and running.
Let's go ahead and add in our colors for our emissive. Now, in order to do that, we know that we already have MPCs. All right, so as we look at this MPC, this is just keeping all of our portal effects combined in one MPC, so we don't have to hunt and search for everything else. So everything related to our portal, we're going to make sure we keep here. So let's look at what we have. Our energy color, our blue and our purple here, we'll keep that, and our hue shift is something we will need too for all of our color, because that is going to allow us to quickly iterate on color. If we don't need to change the colors, we can also manipulate the hue and get a different look entirely. And that will help us with art directors looking at things and saying, hey, you know, I'd like to see it different. Can you just give me a different color profile real fast? And we can do that. Now, in order to see how these colors are blending, let's look at the example from our jumper cables here. Let's find those. And let's open up that master material. And we can see, all right, here's the color. Here's how they are being mixed together. There's also a boost so that one can be hotter than the other if you want to blend it differently, if the colors aren't working quite well. And then we have a hue shift that is being fed after the colors are being blended together. And you can see how all of that is taking place. So we can take some knowledge from what our environment artist did and steal from their parameters. So instead of inventing everything brand new, let's go ahead and just copy all.
Let's go back. What the heck is going?
Our blue and our purple here. We'll keep that in our hue shift for our emissive.
So let's go.
Now, in order to do that, we know that we already have MPCs. All right, so as we look at this MPC, this is just keeping all of our portal effects combined in one MPC, so we don't have to hunt and search for everything else. So everything related to our portal, we're going to make sure we keep here. So let's look at what we have. Our energy color, our blue and our purple here, we'll keep that, and our hue shift is something we will need too for all of our color, because that is going to allow us to quickly iterate on color. If we don't need to change the colors, we can also manipulate the hue and get a different look entirely. And that will help us with art directors looking at things and saying, hey, you know, I'd like to see it different. Can you just give me a different color profile real fast? And we can do that. Now, in order to see how these colors are blending, let's look at the example from our jumper cables here. Let's find those. And let's open up that master material. And we can see, all right, here's the color. Here's how they are being mixed together. There's also a boost so that one can be hotter than the other if you want to blend it differently, if the colors aren't working quite well. And then we have a hue shift that is being fed after the colors are being blended together. And you can see how all of that is taking place. So we can take some knowledge from what our environment artist did and steal from their parameters. So instead of inventing everything brand new, let's go ahead and just copy all of these things that we need for our material. So now we have these guys here. Now I want to go ahead and blend these together. And remember, I want to give the color to the actual emissive material. And I want the ash part of the ember to stay an ashy color.
Mm-hmm.
So we're only going to affect our emissive material. So what I want to do is I want to make sure that these are multiplied by our blue emissive mask. And I can just create a pin here. This will give us our blue and purple. And then to mix them currently, I'm going to just add.
Okay. I did not pay any attention, so we're going to have to go back. So what are NPCs like? What is going on?
These guys here. Now I want to go ahead and blend these together. And remember,
what the heck is going on with the sound?
I want to give the color to the actual emissive.
What did you pull that from? Okay, we're gonna go even more backwards now. So let's check it out. I get the part with the NPCs, and it's
let's
like
look
a
at the example
the
from our jumper cables here. Let's find those. And let's open up that master material.
Mm-hmm.
And we can see, all right, here's the color. Here's how they are being mixed together. There's also a boost so that one can be hotter than the other if you want to blend it differently, if the colors aren't working quite well. Mm-hmm. And then we have a hue shift that is being fed after the colors are being blended together. And you can see how all of that is taking place. So we can take some knowledge from what our environment artist did and steal from their parameters. So instead of inventing everything brand new, let's go ahead and just copy all of these things that we need for our material. So now we have these guys here. Now I want to go ahead and blend these together. And remember, I want to give the color to the actual emissive material. And I want the ash part of the ember to stay an ashy color. So we're only going to affect our emissive material. So what I want to do...
Okay, let's give it a shot. So let's go back to the Unreal Engine before we lose focus here. The one thing he does is he clicks on this cable, which takes him to the... So we have, okay, portal activators. Let's click on the edit BP, which is blueprint, shortcut for blueprint here. I'm just gonna check on the quality of the stream, if we're lagging or if we're not lagging. Let's give it a shot. Let's refresh and see. Alright, so we are in the blueprint now. We are going to, yeah, my PC is definitely struggling. Gonna go to the material, which is found in the 3D viewport. And if we click on these, we should be able to get to the material of, or which one did he click on? Did he click on these cables here? These cables, yeah. And if we double click on that, I think he is taking the material that goes through the cables. That one is the one he's taking from. Absolutely. Wait, we're getting messages? But where are these from? Where are these from? Ah, man, I can't read that, really. Let's check it out. Can't read that. We say hello, Epic Spawner. Yeah, Epic Spawner, we talk to Epic Spawner. Perfect. Yeah, let's keep that here then. And the struggle is real with the stream right now. Okay. We had... Yeah, so basically he's taking reference from that cable... from that cable animation that happens to the actual cables. Let's try a cylinder here to see how the cables look like. Yeah, okay, so he takes the color, the two little colors that go into RGB mask, then they go into emissive color boost and emissive, the second one, boost. Then they lerp into some type of a controller here, Then there's a hue shift that is controlled by this hue shift controller. And we need all this information, and we'll see why. So let's copy these, control drag, right? And we're gonna control C that. And then we are going to we're gonna close this BP. We will go to our other Unreal page here and paste these into our material. So let's make sure that we're doing that. All right, so we are perfect. Okay, so we got those colors. We got the hue shift with the colors as well, like he does in the course. And so we want to see how to do all this stuff. So let's get into the Firefox. Perfect.
Is I want to make sure that these are multiplied by our blue emissive mask. And I can just create a pin here.
The blue one is the one with the
This will
least
give us our blue and
so
purple.
we'll
And
do
then
that.
to mix them currently, I'm going to just add them together.
That makes sense.
All right.
I wonder how that looks
Now
like. So let's do that actually. Let's do that real quick. So we have the blue one to be doing a lot of the work here, a lot of the heavy lifting. So let's get that into a bit to the right. Everything goes to the right a little more. Okay, why the heck can I not drag it? Come on, dude. Yeah. Let's put this to the right. And let's do... This is not an erosion controller. This is color. And color will leave at, like green or whatever. Something like that. Okay. We might include everything else here into the color controllers. So let's just do that real quick. Here we go. Yeah, we're doing well so far. And we will go in the multipliers here and get our information from the blue part in there, I think. Yeah, that should be the least amount of information. If I start previewing that, it will have a very, like, the basically the emission is what we're talking about here. This one there. Oh, wait. No. These should not be touched. Okay, so we'll click M and M again, and we'll get the values now from here. Stick that a bit away. We'll get these values of the emissions and hook it up to the blue mask that we created before. Actually, let's do like he did with the control click. I think it was control click. Wait, what is it? How to do this? Control right click? Middle click maybe. Alt right click? Shift right click? Okay, double click? Yeah, double click. Perfect, and we hook that one into the other multiplier. Alright, let's zoom in now. Oh man, we're really suffering here with the quality, right? Aren't we not? I'm gonna close the stuff. And yeah. Oh yeah, now we're getting really low bitrate because of the TikTok stream, for example. Yeah, it takes a lot of resources, man. I wish it doesn't take so much. Like, I really do wish that, but it does take a lot of resources. Because I would love to stream there, but damn, like, my PC becomes useless, basically. Yeah, that is really unfortunate. Yeah, here, like, I can't even use the PC anymore. It really sucks. I wish I could find a way to make this work. Anyway. So, yeah, we have those multipliers now hooked up in here from our blue mask. And yeah, we have two multipliers, and then we have to add them together, which should give us the look that we're looking for. So let's start previewing that node. Wait for it. Wait for it. And we're gonna see it soon. It's gonna calculate a little bit. Ah, here it is. Perfect. Here it is. That's what we want. That's the color we want for the erosion, or for the emission actually. I'm gonna look into the settings here a little bit because this is really annoying me. Okay, I can't get anything done. I'm gonna close that one then. Let's see if this is gonna make it better. If this is gonna make the quality a little better. Still lagging. Yeah, it's 100% the TikTok stream. Anyway, let's get into the, what is it called? Let's close stuff that we're not actually using, softwares that we're not using, and let's go back to the stream, the tutorial, and see what's done after that.
Might want to give a little bit of variation. So maybe for the purple hue, we also multiply, because blue is going to be our primary and purple will be our secondary. So maybe multiply, not that, the green with the blue, and use that in our purple as our mask. And now when we add these together, we can preview this.
So what did he do again? Let's view that a little bit.
As our mask. And now apply, because blue is going to be our primary and purple will be our secondary. So maybe multiply, not that, the green with the blue, and use that in our purple as our mask.
Okay, got it.
And now when we add these together, we can preview this.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. I thought we need something for the, at least like a thing for the purple, right? So, because right now blue and purple is the same, like blue and purple are the same. So if the primary is blue, then we need the green, which is the second most, second most bigger mask. Let's start previewing this and show it. So this is how it looks, our green mask, and this is how our blue mask look. So let's get the green into the second multiplier here, and this should already give us a better result. Start previewing node. It should give us, come on now. Yeah, that's the one we should get, but let's see how much different it would be if I have a multiplier here first and I multiply the green with the blue. How would that be any different to the final result? Is it that we're putting both of them? Oh, I think we're putting a little more from the green in it. So that is the difference here. Okay, let's put that in here. And let's see if we get a bit more purple. Da, da, da. It's different. I think we are. Honestly think we are getting more of the purple in that, that way of doing this. So let me try to think. Yeah, I think it is already different. We have more blue than we have purple, so that is kind of cool. Let's see what we can do after that.
Start previewing node. And we can boost our purple. And you can see how that's coming through a little bit more. All right, and if we go take that down, now we have our blue. Let's feed that into our emissive intensity. So that's now our color. Actually, let's feed it into our hue shift. So we can also test if our hue shift works and then feed that into our emissive intensity. If this looks too purple when it's blowing out, oh yeah. Let me also make sure I close all that. Our emissive intensity is down right now. Let's go 1. There we go. So we're getting kind of a nice purple hue. Let's see what we can do to balance this a little bit more. This is why I like throwing things in level. You're not going to see your material as perfectly as you will if it's in the level, because it'll be in the right lighting condition. So that's why we want to make sure that we are balancing this here. So you can see how we're giving it a very purple hue. If I bring back blue here, somewhere in there, we can do that. All right. For me, this is more about balancing that color hue, and we'll balance it further as the runes turn on once we get it in there. But now we can see that we have a little bit of a boost, kind of an offset mask here, and then our hue shift. Now, one last thing I want to do, let's move our color. So all of this will be our color here. We'll say emissive. Here's erosion. Let's
he starts commenting. All right, so let's do that work here that we need to do anyway. Just gonna close the stuff that we don't actually that we're not actually using. So let's get here and close that. Yeah, we're not gonna do anything here. Okay, we're gonna close those textures. Make sure that we close a lot of the stuff we're not using, because this is getting a bit heavy for the stream. Okay, perfect. Now, we get that working. We have our emission controller here. This could be up to 3 to give it a boost. Could be up to 10 even if we want to. And now we see a bit more of that purple. So I'll keep it to 4. And then we are going to hook that into our hue shift. Oops. Let's close it. It seems to be like its own controller. All right, so now we're going to add that addition into the texture here, and this is going to go into our emission. So we will need a multiplier, I think. Let me try to think here a little bit. The whole thing will go into this multiplier input, and which will allow us to see the final result. So we'll be stop previewing, and we'll see the actual what is it? The actual texture now, which is not quite. Oh wait, I put it into the opacity. That is wrong. My fault. Sorry. Let's Control Z that. All right, perfect. Now we need things that go into the emission color, emission controller. Oh wait, that is why, because our emission is turned off. All right, we need that thing to 1. Why are we not getting that? We have it into the color. All right, so what happens if this goes into the actual emissive color here without all the calculations? It is doing what exactly? It's interesting. All right, let's start previewing that here. See what happens. Oh yeah. Okay. So we should be getting something at least. So I'm gonna view the actual scene now, where we will wait for it. All right, so here we go. We're gonna do that. Oh yeah, here it is. Here's our erosion and our emissive color. And so let's see. Yeah, it is working. So that is good. That is already perfect. I'm trying to think if there is a way to make it more prominent, actually. And one way to know that, if we have like a separate smooth step, that could work. If we have that. Also trying to think here. I'm trying to think. What else can I do? I mean, it's fine for now. Let's continue the tutorial.
All of this, and we can call this our ember textures, everything controlling them, and we can call this our base color. Okay. One thing I want to do is I want to also add erosion to the emissive. So we can go ahead and copy what we've done with our smooth step. And I'm also going to do an emissive mask. So you can see we have perfect emissive, but I want some edge breakup to this before I start eroding it. So we're going to take our blue mask and we're going to multiply against that before we go into anything else. Then we can feed that into our erosion and then feed that into our emissive intensity. Now our graph is getting a little crazy. So let's move all of this as much as possible to our emissive and also just put this in our emissive comment box there.
Okay, so he hooks up the only critique I have at the moment is that this should seriously be demonstrated a little more, in my opinion. The part that should be demonstrated. Let's put this thing a little bit further away. Let's put this thing a little bit further away here, maybe. And these two also further away here. And let's get these two controllers here so we can see them a little better too. Okay, so there's some hooks that are completely different on his end. So it goes from the hue shift. Hue shift is right there. It goes into a multiplier. Then it multiplies with the blue. Right, so let's multiply hue shift with itself and the blue. Okay, so that is a mistake I've done here. Let's get the blue in here. All right, let's keep that a bit away for now. Then the next step is it goes into another multiplier where now it's going into the... What is this? The erosion controls. Damn. Okay, let's get those in here then. Erosion controllers. And what are we getting here? We're getting the blue one into it. So M. And now we will get this into our erosion. And then this should go into another multiplier hooked to the emissive controller, correct? Yep, that is right. That's an addition or multiply? That's a multiply. Okay. Another multiply. The U with the U. Right, so that will be our controller. And this will all go into the, what is it called? The emission color. Let's put this, let's close this a little bit, give it more space. All right, and these will go, these both will go here now. Perfect, all right. So let's make this a little bigger. Perfect, you will go into the emissive color. Awesome. And the renaming of this will be emission color. Emission controllers. Color controllers. Color control. Perfect. I don't think controller goes with double L. Am I correct? I think control is 1L. Man, I'm lagging. Okay. Well, that was fun. Let's end it. Let's end it. That was fun. We don't need it anymore. Perfect. Thank you so much. And we will go away. Stop virtual controller. Yep. Now we're back on it. And yeah, let's keep it going. Oh yeah, that was so much smoother. Man, TikTok takes a bit too much resources. Perfect. Okay. I'm not sure if I will go on TikTok again, honestly, because this has been very, very troublesome. Okay. Perfect. Now, let's go to the next part where we will what will we do now? What will we do now? That's a good question. We have these here. Okay, so these are our emissive color controllers. And the rest is here too. Okay, perfect. Let's go here.
All right,
Somewhere.
and you can move this wherever you want and just add some reroute pins to make it a little cleaner. There we go. Got to have the OCD clean up prior to everything else. All right, so now we have our smooth step available for an alpha control. We're going to give that the same texture. So let's just add in our green here. And we're going to call this emissive erosion amount. And emissive erosion softness. So now we should see a little bit more breakup. And yeah, that's looking great. We have more breakup on the emissive. Let's bring this out, and then you'll see what happens.
Which texture did he use? Just wondering.
There we go. For an alpha control, we're going to give that the same texture.
Of the
so let's just add in our green here, and we're going to call this emissive erosion amount.
Okay, I wonder what texture I have there right now. So right now we're having the erosion amount value. Okay, so which value are you in right now? It is going into the green. So yeah, we have the green there. So that is fine. Let's save everything. I'm not sure what I'm previewing. Okay, let's stop previewing that. Let's go back to the scene and see what we're getting here. How are we doing on emissiveness? Multiply. Where's this going? Base color. Is this still the case in his video? Okay, that's the problem. Where is his base color? Let's just check before he does the OCD. Okay, so base color is going from the color itself, which is going, should be here. Let's double click that like he did. All right, so base color, perfect. And we have, this is going into opacity mask. That makes sense. But why is it not the case for him? Where's his opacity mask? It is going exactly from the blue, or where is it coming from? Let's see.
All right, so now we have our smooth step available for an alpha control. We're going to give
it is going from the mask red. That makes sense. What are we having? Why are we opacity mask? We're having the erosion controllers. Yeah, okay. Red in here. Oh, sorry. No. Red in opacity mask. Right there. Perfect. Okay, we're gonna save that. And we will check what the next steps are.
That the same texture.
Oh, wait, he copied the erosion. All right, yeah, I get that part. Perfect. So he copied these erosion controllers. Now it makes sense, dude. Yeah. All right, let's do it. Copied the erosion controllers and renamed those to emissive. Dynamic. We don't need dynamic here. Emissive. Erosion bias. Actually, it's smoothness. All right, next one. It's gonna be erosion. Period. This will be normal erosion, and this will be erosion smoothness. Perfect. Smooth smoothness. Okay, perfect. And now this goes into the actual opacity mask. Yep, that's what I made mistake of here. We'll delete you. We don't need you. Thank you very much. And yes, this has the red as a value. If I'm not mistaken. Nah, the red as a complete value, like the multiplier. And the green as the value. And this should drive our opacity. Perfect. Now save. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens here. Yeah, now we're getting some of that emission, but only some of it. How much is the value of erosion? Okay, it is on 0. Let's try 0.5. 0.5. Okay, 0. 0.2. So everything is on 0. Let's see what happens. This one on 0. Here we go. Now we're finally getting our emissions back, and that is perfect. Honestly, this was on 1. We'll get more blue. If this was on 10, we'll get more purple. Like that. All right, that is doable. I like to have more purple, so we're gonna do that. What if this was on 100? Yeah, but that is crazy. It's crazy amount of emissions. Let's do 0.5. Let's try to play with like way lower values. See what happens. Okay. Saving. Perfect. Now we're getting there. We're getting there slowly.
So let's just add in our green here. And we're going to call this emissive erosion amount. And
yeah, we saw this, so we're going to skip it.
Giving us a finer level of control. All right. And remember, if we were to erode the entire thing, it's going to eventually take our emissive with it.
Yeah.
So I like having that control because we can burn out the ember before the ash completely erodes. Now, you don't have to do it that way. You could just erode the entire ash, and that'd probably give you the same result. But again, just showing you some extra control we can put into this. So if we did want to do that and still have a little ash floating around, we could. Okay, now let's just parameterize this for our actual particle system. And let's make sure we stay organized here and understand what we're going to be putting into our dynamic parameters to really make this function. So the first thing I want to do is I want my frame selection. So we're just going to call this frame. That will allow us to animate or randomly choose, not animate, randomly choose whatever frame that we want. And I'll usually leave a scalar hanging around just in case I need to plug it back up to debug it or whatever I want to do. The next thing is emissive intensity. Okay. After that, I want my erosion amount. And I usually put these in the hierarchy of what I would like to control. And then I want to do my emissive erosion amount. All right. Now we can just duplicate that and populate that everywhere we need it to go. Just grab control, can drag those pins there. Now we want our emissive erosion there. And remember, all of these are starting at 1, so we need to be careful. Our frame, we can leave at 0. Emissive intensity, we can leave at 1 for now, that's fine. Erosion amount 0. And emissive erosion amount 0. And then our emissive intensity is the last thing.
Okay, let's get these then going. So we need a dynamic. All right, first, yeah, let's keep those unplugged for now. You know what? They are part of it, so let's put it in. Put it in there, man. Okay, let's get these in there. Perfect. Yeah, Let's keep things clean. All right, maybe we can clean it even more. Let's get these into a comment. We're gonna call it masking. Just gonna make it a bit like this. This is masking. This is our flipbooks. And this is our normals. Normals. Yes, let's completely commentate everything. So we have our normals. Everything is in a box. This will be our color intensity. And yeah, so we have everything in a box. This is looking pretty cool. All right, now we're gonna do our dynamic parameter. So as we've seen, we can have 4 parameters here. First will be our floor. So we'll do floor, actual flipbook. Was it flipbook or floor? Let's see, it will be the sub images, which will be floored, right? This is what I saw in the beginning. We'll use a floor for that. Maybe we play that part again just to get a bit of review. So we see it's flooring the frame. So it's going to be called full frame. The next one is going to be our emissive amount and erosion amount. And then emissive erosion amount. Okay, I'm not going to add amount because it is kind of clear. It is an amount. We're gonna take that and copy it, but first we need a floor. We're gonna put the textures here next to their individual sub-UVs. All right, let's get these up here and the individual sub-UVs and in here as well. So we have our floor, and then the frame is gonna go on the floor. The floor is gonna go into the frame, just like that. Frame, delete. And this one will go into the frame as well. Wait, I deleted the... Okay, let's do this here, and this here. Perfect. And we will get that another time and copy it here. We will need erosion amount, right? So everything that goes in here... Wait, how did you do that? Shift and click. That will go into erosion. Just the normal erosion. This will go here. Below it, erosion controls will go here now. All right, that is kind of perfect. We will paste that thing again in here. Now we need a bit of organizing. We will pull this down here maybe. And give this a bit of a bigger box, and this one a bit of a bigger box, and the masking is gonna go down like that, and this is gonna go up like that, and this is gonna go even more up like that, and yeah, this is getting a little more out of hand, but let's make it more in hand. Let's put that thingy here. That makes a bit more sense. Perfect. This is our normal. Yes, this is gonna be here. Perfect. Now we have a bit of a better overview of things, and maybe this below this one. And now, perfect. Let's go into our emissive emission here, emissive erosion. As to the actual values of things, this is gonna be a what is it? The red one is frame. It's gonna be frame 0. The green is emission. It's going to be on just emissive, which is 1, and erosion will be 0, and emissive erosion will be 0. And this will be right next to it here. It's empty, but we'll keep it for later, as he said. We're going to save that. And so far, so good, I think. Let's check it out. It's looking pretty good. Yeah, that is everything for now. Yes, let's take it to the next step. Let's put it in Niagara system.
Erosion amount.
Yeah, we saw all of this, so we're going to skip through it a little bit.
The last thing.
Yep.
Scale values.
All right, let's see.
Okay, there we go. Now, instead of controlling the color through here, I realize these are grayscale values. So we can do something a little interesting with our particle color, because I want the color to change. I want to be able to control it later on in the particle system. Now, yes, I could give these parameters, then I have to change each parameter. So you could parameterize these colors and then just call them in your material bindings in your particle system. Totally fine if you want to do it that way. But because this is ash and we're only going to use grayscale values in our ash, let's go ahead and give it a channel. And now in our particle color, I can go in there and I can set a grayscale value based on the channel for the particle color.
Interesting.
And that will allow me to basically to use less and not really have to worry about incentivizing a color parameter. Again, you could totally do that. If that makes more sense for you, do that. But this is also tricks I use with decal materials. When I'm using decals, you can use decal color to influence different things. Like you could erode your decal with a float. And basically, we're just taking this and breaking it out from a vector and giving it float parameters. So you can use these particle color channels to influence other things, your emissive intensity, your erosion amount. You could animate different parts of those colors with curves. So we could turn those float values into a curve. So again, I'm just showing you a more advanced technique. You can totally use the colors as needed. All right, let's take a look at this and just see what our ash is looking like. Obviously, it's going to be white because we just have the particle color hooked in via floats, and by nature, they're set at 1. So we will adjust this once we get it into our particle system. And that's what we're going to do next. So now you've got your master material. I'm just going to make an instance of this, just so I can say embers. And I don't even need to put it at runes, but I can say rune embers. Now, if we like this material and we don't need to change anything, we can see what our parameters will be here. I said, okay, so we do have some groups. Let's go ahead and group things. This is already an emissive. We're not using that one, but we can just go ahead and call it emissive. Oh, let me stop previewing this, by the way. There we go. Add all.
Yeah, okay, it's all going to a group now. What way? Okay, let me play that again.
Runes, but I can say rune embers. Now, if we like this material and we don't need to change anything, we can see what our parameters will be here.
Okay.
I said, okay, so we do have some groups. Let's go ahead and group things. This is already an emissive. We're not using that one, but we can just go ahead and call it emissive. Oh, let me stop previewing this, by the way. There we go. Add all of that to emissive. Can add this to an erosion group. Again, it's not being used, so you don't have to do that.
Okay.
And this is our texture group. So here's texture.
That makes sense. Okay, let's group it up. Let's clean it up a little bit. I'm fine with that too. So we start with these have emissive. Okay, we're gonna just put these then in emissive. We're not using this one, but we'll still put it in emissive. Yep. Okay. Next one is emission controller. Yeah, that's actually we can just call that one main emission controller because it's driving all like the emission intensity. Actually, I'll just add intensity here. INT with a dot. Here we go. Perfect. The next one is gonna be also emission. Nice. This will be erosion group. Yes, and this will also be in that group. Perfect. And then the next one is gonna be normal group. So normal. That will be actually, you know what? Let's call it texture. Texture. It is part of the texture anyway. This is gonna be a texture group. The next one is also gonna be a texture group. Drop down texture. Perfect. Parameters. Yeah, that will be also be a texture. And that will also be a texture. Perfect. We got them all. Save back here, back into the main menu, and let's make a material instance. Boom. Perfect. Double click that. Let's look at the parameters that were created. Now there are some that are grouped like this. Erosion only has one. That's a mistake. So we're gonna work on that real quick. Boom. We're just gonna put it in erosion, boom, erosion smoothness. Okay, because it's not hooked, I think it already automatically takes it out. Can that be? Erosion smoothness, that's the only one hooked in. Normal strength, runes, and another texture, and sub image. Perfect, 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 perfect. All right. So now if the main emission controller is on 2, it should give us a bit more of that intensity, as we can see here. If it's on 10, it will give us even more. Okay, so now we know that it's actually working. Let's go back to the tutorial. Here we go.
All right. I'll add this to texture too, since it's placating to that. All right, cool. So now we have everything listed. We have everything in there. And then we can go ahead and just add this to our particle system.
Yeah, we already have
and we will come back.
Okay, so he just clicked on it, right?
Let's add this to our particle system. And we will come back and do the particle system in a second in the next video. Rune effects. I'll go ahead and add that guy there. And then let's make sure on our particle, see how we have color. We can go ahead and take all those down. And for, let's say, our top color, what did we give it before?
Gray one.
Our top, I think, was black, and then we did the light gray.
Okay, let's do that real quick. And so we added one more thing, I remember. And that is to control through the Niagara system, which I think is a way more comfortable way to do it. So we will add our dynamic color, I think it's called. Dynamic, oh no, color. What is it called? Particle color? Particle color. Yes, that's the one. And instead of having two values like this, we'll put R in the first one and G in the second one. Blue will be out of it, and we'll just delete those two. Put that here. Boom. Color. Yeah, I'm just gonna call it particle color. Particle color. Perfect. All right, so we saved that, and now we should be able to control our Niagara system, which should be this one. No, not this one. This one. Yep, it's this one. Double click on that, and we are in. So one of the main things is in the sprite renderer, we will have we'll have the ability to put our material instance here, which is this one. Boom. We're just gonna call that MI instead of MI. And yeah, now we're getting somewhere. Let's go to our particles that are being emitted here. Now we are not gonna see anything, of course, because it's black. And we're gonna see something, but not everything. The next thing is to start going into particle spawn. I think in the color here, we will have red as 0, green as 0.5, 0, 0, and this should already give us the same effect we had before. Let me just double check.
And for, let's say, our top color, what did
initialize particle. Did we do that in initialize particle? Yeah, it's in here. Yep.
What did we give it before? Our
0.
top, I think, was black, and then we did the light gray.
Exactly, light gray.
So we'll do 0,
0.5,
and like 0.125.
Okay, 1.5. Okay.
Let's get rid of that.
Here they are.
Now we can see we have these little ash particles here.
Perfect.
Awesome. Now we'll go through randomizing these, making the emissive brighter, all of that good stuff. But we're going to take care of that in the next video as we...
All right, let's get... Now we've done all the hard work of like making the texture, making the embers, the material, and now we're going to make the system finally. This is... Look how much of that is work, right? This is how much of the real-time VFX work, it's like, what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of literal complete technicality, right? So you have these chapters here for the textures, these chapters here for the material, and this here for the Niagara system. Niagara. Right? So all of this here is just like technicality, right? So this is how much we have to do in technicalities. We have to like dive into that. Perfect. I'm really proud of what we did so far, so I'm gonna go to the system so we get it done. This has been amazing so far. Let's actually complete and continue, which will put us in still in 5%. Let's get
All
into
right,
system
jumping
members.
back into our rune emitter. Let's go ahead and go to our system here. And I'm going to drag this
Seeking better quality here.
off to the side, just so we can see what we're doing. So I'm going to add a few things. Let's go ahead and round out our logic. And let's see, we've got some curl noise going, but I also want a little bit of a vortex force. Let's do a random range here. Float.
Okay, let's go back a little bit.
I'll do
Let's see what he's doing.
logic.
One by one. So.
And let's see, we've got some curl noise going, but I also want a little bit of a vortex force.
Vortex force.
Let's do a random range here.
Okay, let's see first play around with what a vortex force is. It's in the update. Let's do vortex force. And let's see first what the heck is a vortex force doing. Right, so I can see it already doing some interesting stuff. Let's do 0 more, right? Do zeros more. Now we can barely see it. It's shooting them away. We're gonna do 1 0 less. See what is gonna happen. So right now, aha, look at that. Now we're zoomed all the way out. That is not really helpful. We're gonna go in, back again. Okay, now it's lagging again. Lagging again. Lagging again. Okay, here we are. Yeah, it's taking them away. It's like making a tornado almost. Okay. 200. Yeah, it's spinning them. 0. They're just going upwards. All right, so we are going to put a random number here. Vortex, that's interesting. Random range float. All right, so it's going to be between 200 and 500. I love that. Love what it's doing. Okay, can I select the Niagara system actually? And look at that. Perfect. Yeah, so it's spinning them like that, but I wonder, what happens if it's a minus? Between 200 and minus 500. So now it's going into interesting ways. I think that is making more sense for embers. All right, let's check it out, what is going to happen. Now in the... Where is it? Where's my course? Course is right there. Perfect, let's watch that. So he adds a random
Float.
range float. Let's see the values he puts.
We'll do minus 25.
Minus 25.
So it spins one way.
And then it spins the other way. Perfect.
The other way.
Yeah, we did
and
that.
And we're going to keep it in the Z direction because that's where we want it to go. Pull amount. If we do 50, if we do something crazy, we can see that goes. So I'm just going to do a little bit here. A little bit of a vortex. There we go.
I wish he goes into the frames very quickly.
We have our user exposed parameters here.
Yeah.
You can see what happens. Maybe let's do the pull amount. Some of them might pull a little bit more than the others. So there. For our origin pull amount, let's rename that to embers. Origin pull amount. Okay. So we have that going for us. Let me just take, let's see, if I take that color down, just want to make sure. All right, there we go. Let's do our dynamic parameters just to get a feel for everything that's going on. We're going to do a random range float here. And remember, we have 9, so 0 starting
to 8
is our first one, to 8. And now we should start seeing some random.
Perfect. Let's get that in. That's exactly the part I wanted in first. So, all right, let's get that in the particle update. Hey, what are you cooking? Oh, I'm cooking a lot of things. We're cooking some knowledge about the embers effect here. We created the textures, then we created the material for them, and now we're actually finally seeing the result of that. Let me just get to the size. All right, this particle spawn, initial particle, sprite size model. Now I remember we made actual controls here for the size. What do we have in here? User parameter, embers drag strength, embers noise force strength, embers scale. All right, let's do 2, and this should scale them up now, right? What did I add? Let's add, yeah, pretty nice stuff. Ember scale, why the heck? Oh, they are scaling up. Interesting, but on the other one, not on this one. Okay, that's quite interesting. Okay, let's go with 2 for now. Scale them up a bit more, not too much, not too crazy. Perfect. Now let's get the dynamic, what is it? Dynamic particle, dynamic something. What is it called? Okay, but first, where is my particle? Anyway, like, where is my show? Let's get a background in here. How was it to get a background? Show, memory, blah, blah, blah. Let's trying to spawn from a burnt 0. Is it a decolor texture in the mesh? It's a texture on the mesh that we created in Material Maker. And so, but I can't find the particles here, which is annoying. And I don't know why I can't put the background. Okay, we're just gonna view it from here then. That's fine. Let's just view it from here. I'm gonna select away for now to see what is happening. Okay, that is pretty good. All right, now we're gonna add our dynamic, what is it called? Dynamic parameters, right? Dynamic parameter. Let's put that in our update, particle update. So dynamic parameter, material parameter. And yeah, now so we can do a default range. Let's do a range. Float from 0 to 9 because we 0 to 8 because we have 9 frames, and this should switch now the frames between the different textures that we have added in here. These textures, 1, 2, 3, 9. Perfect. I think it is changing between them. Now we need some over lifetime controls for especially, wait, what did I say? Parameter 1 to 0. Okay, I didn't change the name of that. Let's check that out. Emissive. It's saying parameter 1 to 0. Not used in material. Erosion, emissive erosion. What do we have in here? We have emissive erosion, emissive erosion. Okay, so the emissive part is not being used. Is that true? Yeah, erosion. And we need one for emissive erosion. Then we need one for emissive. Okay, so shift emissive, boom, save, done, back there. Okay, perfect. Now we are actually seeing that, hopefully. Oh, because it's on 0. Let's do 1. Now we should be able to see the emissions, because that was the emission strength, general strength. So if it could be on 10, then we start seeing more emissions. It could be on 1,000, then we start seeing even more. And this will be our embers as we are looking away. Now, how do we animate the erosion of it. So that's a good question. From my knowledge so far, I think this one needs to have a curve, and this one needs to have a curve, and this one needs to have a curve. Now, let's see how that's done in the course.
Random shapes. Once we get that. Now our emissive intensity is just going to start out at the base. So let's do a curve.
Curve, yes.
And I'm going to go ahead and select both of those and just change them to a break.
Okay.
And I'm going to blow this out to start. Let's see, 500. Now, in order to see this properly, let's get the emissive from our actual stair. Let's go to our level sequence. Let's see platform and stairs.
Uh-huh.
Okay, there we go. So let's actually see how bright those are. That's pretty close to being in line with that. Now we want them to dissipate pretty soon after. You can see they're just crushing out. So let's erode that emissive with a curve.
Mm-hmm.
And let's start at 0.
Okay. Let's do that on our own, actually. So let's do curve. How did he do that with the level going up? Let's check it out again. I want to learn Unreal a little more.
Curve. And I'm going to go ahead and select both of those.
Yep. Come on. Yeah. Oh my god, man. Come on.
To dissipate pretty soon
absolutely,
after.
No worries. It will be uploaded, so check it out whenever you have time. There's way more on the channel, so thanks for joining.
They're just crushing out. So let's erode that emissive with a curve. And let's start at 0. Let's maybe put one at 0.5.
Okay, I skipped it again. Damn it. Here we go. Stairs going up. Okay, how is that done? Sequence. Okay.
It's out start. Let's see, 500. Now, in order to see this properly, let's get the emissive from our actual stair.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go to our level sequence.
Level sequence.
Let's see platform and stairs.
Okay, let's do that. So we're gonna navigate a little bit through the folders here a little bit. So let's get that done. So we are here right now. It should be in content, and then we should go and check for sequences. All right, so content engine, assets, environment, sequences, environment. Okay, let's check it out. Sequence. Seek. Nothing. Where is it? Where the freaking hell is it? Oh my god, man. Let's go backward a little bit.
The emissive from our actual stair. Let's go to our level sequence.
It's actually in VFX. Okay. That's interesting. Okay, content, VFX. Level sequence. This one, double click. And now play it. Let's put this away a little bit. Where is the controls? Oh, here is the controls. Okay. Let's put it and play it. Here we go. This should be good for us to measure the emissiveness. Okay, and now let's get to do that on our own. So we're gonna add a curve. Here we go. Float from curve. And the max will be up to 200. Yeah, it's a bit too much. 150. Yeah, that's the one. And yeah, it's just gonna go from 1 to 0, I think. Let's add a break for that one and add a break for that one. Perfect. And now we're gonna go with a curve like that. That's gonna dissolve after some time. That is pretty good. Okay, the next one is erosion. Erosion is going to be a curve as well. And it's going to be between 0 and 1, so we're not going to play with that. So we're just going to add another one here. We're going to add a key, and this is going to be a 0. Okay, this is going to be a 0, and it is going to be... Let's try that 1 to 1. See what happens. So it's going away after time. Now, we only want it to go away a bit faster, so let's add a break. And let's make it visible a little more than that. And then it will go away. Let's try auto here. And so, yeah, that is way better. Yeah. I think it goes away quicker, right? Usually. That is pretty well. Yeah, I'm liking the results of this. I like that way better. Let's make it go on a straight line maybe, or on a curve. Yeah, the curve is doing way better job. A little later. Until it dies. Okay. I think that's a bit too much. All right, back to that value. Then we have emissive erosion. Emissive erosion was basically the one where it eats up the emissiveness of it, right? So we're gonna add a curve. So if this was on 1, it will have no emissiveness whatsoever. If this was on 0.5, it will have half emissiveness, and then it would have 1 is just full 0. 0 is full emission. Okay, curve. Let's get a curve in here. Then let's get a, it's gonna be 0. Right, I'm gonna add another key. It's gonna take it, elevate it a little bit, and then it's just gonna go to 1 and disappear. Yeah, so, and now we need to select all those curves. Then we will make them auto for now. All right, and now let's get these values. Let's play with them a little more. Let's see how that's gonna look like. Yeah, so I want it to disappear a bit quicker. Not disappear, but like to have the emission of the embers themselves go a little quicker. Let's try something like this. Something a bit more extreme. Less extreme. Am I happy with that? Let's see. Bits faster. Okay. Yeah, we're kind of getting that black ash period, but it's broken apart because of this part here. So we want to have more of that. Let's get the emissiveness away quicker, and we get a bit more ashes afterwards. Yeah, that could work here. But I'm not a huge fan of like how fast they are disappearing. I want them to go before, but I don't want them to go that fast. Ah, man, they're barely visible. Just gonna zoom in a little more. Yeah, we're getting some of that black. Damn it. See it from afar. Yeah. Yeah, I kind of like it. Let's see what he does and learn from our mistakes.
Let's see, platform and stairs. Okay, there we go. So let's actually see how bright those are. That's pretty close to being in line with that. Now we want them to dissipate pretty soon after. You can see they're just crushing out. So let's erode that emissive with a curve. And let's start at 0. Let's maybe put 1 at 0.5 and then do a 1. Okay, and then we need our erosion amount as well. And let's see, erosion. We're going to start at 0. I'm going to do a break for these guys. Let's do 1. And let's maybe do this at 0.35. Pull the erode emissive back a little bit. And let's do a break. Oops. 0.35. Let's do a break there, and let's see how that goes. We might need to erode that a little sooner. 0.75. All right, that's looking good. So the next thing I want to do is I want these to rotate a little bit as they're coming out. And we also want to make sure, let's check our scale again. We're at 0.25. I feel like
it's gonna feel it a little bit with the normal speed.
I feel like maybe 1 and 1.5. Let's just get some perspective on this.
What is this? He changed the scale, right? Yeah. Yeah, I also want to change the scale, honestly, so let's get that done real quick here in the initialize particle inside of the scale here. Let's do 1.2 to 1.7. And here, let's do 0.7 to 1. Yeah. So let's view it a bit. Wait, how do I go in a little fast lower, actually? Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, it's going away too quickly from the okay, let's go back here into the dynamic. Where's my dynamic? Here we go, dynamic material parameter. All right, so let's view what's happening here. So we have our erosion itself. Let's delay everything a little more. That is looking better in my opinion. Yeah, it's slowly dissipating. I like that feeling. Let's do the same here. Yeah, this is lovely, guys. Okay, back.
Okay. Now remember, we don't want these kicking out super fast. These are just going to be emanating from here. So let's see where our curl noise is. And our curl noise strength. Embers, curl noise strength. Be at 0.25. And the same thing for our pull amount. Be at 5. Could always try 25 and see. It might help pull them in towards the center a little bit, which is cool. Let's do 0.5. And our drag, let's maybe do 0.75 on the drag. That's looking pretty good, actually. I'm liking that. Our cone, we have our velocity speed. Let's throw in some random velocity speed. Let's just read from a new user parameter here. And same here. And now we have a maximum and a minimum velocity speed. And then our cone angle, we're just going to randomize. And we can do anywhere from 0 to 90. We can see how that's looking there. And if we want to beef this up a little more, we can. Just remember, we're going to be doing a lot of these systems. That's not looking too bad. So it looks like we've got our system down. Now here's the deal. We've done a standard emitter for our rune embers. I'm going to create another asset. Since we've worked a little bit more, we've gotten this guy going here, and we have all of our functionality built out for this. I'm going to create a new parent emitter. So let's break this parent. Let's click here, remove parent. All right. I'm going to go ahead and exit out of that. Let me get out of this sequence here. We'll go back to the beginning. All right. So I'm going to delete this. And now I want this to be the actual parent emitter. So we'll create an asset. say any rune embers, perfect, save. Move this back in here. Let's save this. Now, what I'd like to do, so I'm going to break this parent because I'm going to keep this the way that it is. Our rune embers can be used anywhere, which means we need to take a couple of things out. This sample texture, for instance, I don't want it to sample a texture every time it spawns. So we're going to delete that.
I think I've reached my focus points. Yeah, let's continue this later. Let's look into this a bit later. I can't focus anymore, so it's fine. Let's guys, it's been amazing. So I'm just gonna show you like a real quick preview of what we learned so far, right? So the ultimate result of what we're trying to get here is a different type of frame from the flipbook that we created in Material Maker. This one. To play randomly and have some like erosion and emissive controls, right? So the way we did that is that we have created a whole bunch of material. So we had a lot of nodes here. We started with it today, and we started like with the texture. Where's the texture? What is the texture? And the normal of that texture. Then basically we started with the SubUV functions, which basically decides with a sub-image parameter, all right, how many rows do we have? How many rows and columns do we have? And it's like 3 by 3, right? So this is what we have here in Unreal Engine that we created from Material Maker last time. Then we created a frames parameter, which then we updated with the dynamic parameter. So if we see dynamic parameter below this, don't panic, we went step by step, doing everything. Then we have our masking that we split our RGB values. What are those? Those are what we created here in Material Maker. The R being the maximum values, that will be our alpha. The G being the color of the actual body, the actual color of the flake, and then we have the emissiveness of that flake, right? So, and which is stored in the B, blue, emissiveness, body, and general alpha, right? So we have those used over and over and over again. As you can see, each one has like 3 U's. We started with the red. It hooked right into the opacity mask, which is unmasked right now. Then we went into creating our color controllers that we pulled from another material in the project. No panic here. We went really each step by step. Then we had created our erosion controllers that control the erosion of that we see here, the way that they dissipate and they go away, right? We made one for the actual erosion of the whole thing and one erosion of the emissiveness of that material. So you can see that sometimes, or all the time actually, the emissiveness, like the actual energy of those embers are going away, yet we still see the ashes that are also dissipating away. So that's what we built. It took us around, let me check, is it 2 hours? Is it 3 hours? What is the time now? It's around, took us like 2 hours, I would say. And yeah, it's been a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun with it. I made sure that we go all the way into making the Niagara system or updating it in that case. I will continue with doing more. And if you're curious where we are right now in the course, when you have viewed that one, we are at 5% still in chapter, this one, Ember System. So we completed all the material, the textures, the systems, right? And we went to the system here. And then we will continue eventually throughout all the course. If you're curious about the course, of course, as always, there's a discount code in the description below. You would support my content and their content as well. So yeah, if that's something you are willing to learn, give it a try. Use JTG for 20%. Okay, sorry, JTG20 for 20% off. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you all for watching. Bye-bye.